As billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk rolled into a McDonald's drive-thru one hectic afternoon, he anticipated a swift meal amidst the chaos of his meetings. He never anticipated the weary visage at the window. Henry Scott, once a luminary among Tesla's battery engineers, how did a brilliant mind find themselves behind the counter of a fast food joint? What would Elon do upon uncovering the devastating truth of Henry's downfall? In a world quick to cast aside talent at the first hint of trouble, it only takes one person to peer beneath the surface, to uncover the potential that others overlook. What unfolds is more than a tale of redemption. It is a striking reminder that our most profound breakthroughs may emerge from the most unlikely sources. Elon Musk drummed his fingers on the steering wheel, tension crackling in the air. The traffic snarled around him, a relentless beast, while hunger gnawed at his insides. 3 meetings completed, 2 remain. His stomach roared. The towering McDonald's sign loomed ahead, a shimmering beacon of temptation. Why not dare to defy? He whispered darkly to himself. Months had passed since he last tasted fast food. Elon entered the drive-thru, tension thick in the air as he waited. His phone buzzed relentlessly with messages from the Tesla factory, yet he chose to turn a deaf ear this time. Only 5 minutes for a burger and fries. That was everything he craved. As he approached the ordering screen, it flickered ominously before vanishing into darkness. "Black, my apologies for that," echoed a voice from the speaker. "Our system is crashing repeatedly today." Just a moment. Elon stood still, glancing at his watch, tension mounting. The screen jolted back to life after a tense 30 seconds. "That was swift," Elon remarked, astonished against his will. "A swift reboot and a code patch," the voice declared. "What do you desire today?" The worker's words, "code patch," pierced through the air, seizing Elon's focus with an electric intensity. That was no ordinary fast food chatter. He commanded a burger and sped to the payment window. The young man at the window bore dark circles beneath his eyes, a name tag declaring him Henry. He appeared to be in his early 30s, a weary smile gracing his lips, yet his eyes told a different story, one of exhaustion and unspoken sorrow. $8.79, Henry declared, extending the card reader with a tense grip. As Elon slid his credit card across the counter, his gaze caught a glimpse of a small notebook protruding from Henry's pocket. Intricate drawings emerged from the shadows. They resembled the intricate designs of battery schematics. Elon narrowed his eyes. This man stirred a haunting sense of recognition. The card machine beeped, then fell silent into darkness. "Not again," Henry groaned, the weight of despair heavy in his chest. Rather than seeking assistance, he yanked out the machine, turned it over, and swiftly pried open a panel on the back. His fingers danced with a tense urgency as he reset something deep within. In that moment, everything changed. "Henry Scott?" Elon questioned, disbelief etched on his face. Man's gaze shot upward, eyes wide with shock. Recognition ignited in his eyes, swiftly eclipsed by shame. He cast a swift glance downward. "Absolutely, darling." Henry stood, casting a remorseful glance at Elon. "The hour has struck. She should be asleep." "I must leave," Elon declared, standing up. "Grateful for your tale." "I don't understand why you wanted to know," Henry said, his voice heavy with uncertainty. "It alters nothing." Elon stood frozen, eyes wide as Henry hoisted Ella into the air, her delicate arms clinging to him like a lifeline. The stark difference between the devoted father and the broken man in the McDonald's uniform was jarring. "Good night, Mr. Space Rocket Man," Ella called, her voice slicing through the silence, echoing in the vastness. "Good night, Ella," Elon whispered, his voice barely a breath. As Henry cradled his daughter toward the shadows of sleep, Elon's gaze fell upon a haunting drawing on the table. A car, beneath a grinning sun, captured in a moment of bliss. In a child's scrawl, it declared, "Daddy's car that runs on dreams." Elon clenched the original report, folding it with precision before slipping it into his pocket, a silent promise of what was to come. In the shadows of his car, he dialed a number, tension crackling in the air. He commanded his assistant, "Cancel my meetings for tomorrow. Uncover every secret about John Paul." All of it. The luxury car pulsed with tension as Elon sped away from the small apartment building. He was haunted by the image of the brilliant engineer tucking his daughter in, the notebook brimming with dreams that may never see the light, and the McDonald's cap crammed into his pocket. Not every fall signifies defeat. At times it was a battle of will, a fierce struggle to push forward as everything crumpled around them. The following evening, Elon's car screeched to a halt outside McDonald's, just as Henry's shift drew to a close. Henry stepped outside, his heart racing at the sight of the familiar vehicle. "Mr. Musk," he inquired, stepping forward with trepidation, "what brings you here?" "I believed we could engage further," Elon declared. "Is Ella with her neighbor once more?" Henry's head jerked in agreement. "Mrs. Guzman arrives to collect her after the intense afternoon treatment on Tuesdays. Time is slipping away. I have until 8 tonight. Flawless. Will you dine with me?" "Not here," Elon said, a faint smile flickering across his face. A place of silence. 20. Moments passed and they found themselves huddled in a shadowy booth of a dim diner. Henry shifted uneasily in his McDonald's uniform, facing off against Elon's lavish suit. "I could have changed first," Henry said, tugging at his collar, tension crackling in the air. "Food held greater significance," Elon declared, thrusting a menu in his direction. "Choose anything you desire." An uneasy stillness enveloped them after the order was placed. Henry shattered it at last. "What drives you to this, Mr. Musk?" "Thanks for the dinner, but just call me Elon. I'm doing this because I've delved into your situation." Henry's muscles coiled tight. "I seek no handouts." "Good, for that is not my offer." Elon leaned in, tension crackling in the air. "I examined your original report, the one you handed me yesterday. It's outstanding. It's irrelevant now. It means everything to me." Elon's voice cut through the air, resolute and unwavering. "A brilliant engineer is gone from Tesla, seemingly the victim of calculated sabotage." Henry's gaze fell heavily upon the table. "True or not, it belongs to yesterday. My focus has shifted." "Ella?" Elon whispered, his voice barely breaking the silence. "Her treatments are effective, yet they come at a steep price. She craves certainty." Henry's gaze locked onto Elon's. "I cannot gamble with anything that could threaten it." Their food arrived, and Henry devoured it with fierce urgency. Elon understood the man had likely sacrificed meals for the sake of his finances. "What secrets does your notebook hold?" Elon demanded. "Yesterday I caught a glimpse of designs that sparked intrigue." For the first time, a fire ignited in Henry's eyes. He paused, then drew the tattered notebook from his pocket. "Only ideas," he declared, "thoughts that haunt me in the stillness of work." Elon seized the notebook, pages trembling as he flipped through them. Each page overflowed with intricate technical drawings, precise calculations, and urgent notes. While the spotlight shone on battery cooling systems, others delved into the quest for efficiency in Tesla's many components. "All this while flipping burgers at McDonald's?" Elon asked, incredulous. Henry shrugged, a fleeting gesture that spoke volumes. "The French fryer offers a moment of reflection." One design seized Elon's focus. A groundbreaking design for cooling channels that might slash battery temperature by 18%. "This could end our overheating nightmare," Elon declared, his finger striking the page with urgency. "Have you conducted the simulations?" "Only in my mind," Henry whispered, a sorrowful smile gracing his lips. "Access to Tesla's software is no longer in my grasp." Elon flipped through the notebook, his questions sharp and piercing. As Henry unveiled his ideas, a transformation swept over him. His voice surged with intensity, hands slicing through the air as he unveiled the workings of the systems. This was the true Henry, the mastermind, the creator. "Why choose batteries?" Elon demanded. "What drives your obsession with this technology?" Henry's eyes widened in shock at the question. "It matters. Deeply. Superior batteries lead to superior electric cars. Superior electric cars lead to a cleaner world." His gaze fell. "Ella's health struggles are already overwhelming. The polluted air only deepens her plight." The answer hit Elon like a lightning bolt. Henry was not merely working, he was a fervent believer in the cause. "If you had the chance to return to Tesla, what would your move be?" Elon demanded abruptly. Henry tensed. "It can't be done." In a fleeting silence, Henry paused. "I will see this through to the end. The cooling system's efficiency hangs by a thread. 30% more is within reach, if only the design could be perfected." He struck the page in his notebook with urgency. "I possess ideas for the manufacturing process that could slash costs dramatically. After all that's transpired, you still wish to return?" "It was never about the company," Henry declared, a shadow crossing his face. "It was all about the work, forging something that truly matters." His expression turned ominous. "Yet John would never permit it." Elon spoke with caution, revealing that John does not hold the reins of every decision at Tesla. Hope ignited in Henry's eyes, only to be snuffed out. "Mr. Musk, Elon, I acknowledge your efforts, but my life has taken a different turn. Ella is all that matters now. How will you afford her treatments on a McDonald's paycheck?" Henry recoiled. "I'm surviving." "Are you really?" "I must." Henry's voice cut through the silence, resolute and unyielding. "For her." Elon fixed his gaze on the man opposite him, exhausted, triumphant, shining and shattered simultaneously. Henry glanced at his watch, urgency etched on his face. Ella must be picked up. Time was slipping away. "Absolutely." Elon thrust the notebook back, a silent storm brewing in his eyes. "Thank you for revealing your creation." As they approached the car, Henry appeared consumed by his own turmoil. "May I pose a question?" he spoke at last. "Everything hangs in the balance." "What makes this significant for you? Tesla commands a vast workforce, thousands strong. You're juggling the weight of several empires. Why should we care about a single dismissed engineer?" Elon fell silent, the weight of the moment hanging heavy in the air. "Your talent is a rare gem. Injustice gnaws at my very core." He halted. "Perhaps it's true that everyone is entitled to a second chance." As Henry drove to pick up Ella, his eyes were fixed on the world outside, lost in thought. "It haunts me." He whispered his confession, the weight of it hanging in the air. "The toil, the mission." Elon spoke, and I understand. In that fleeting moment, everything changed between them. A bridge of understanding shattered into fragments. A moment that would alter their destinies in unimaginable ways. The following morning, Elon sat alone in his office at Tesla headquarters, fixated on the original report Henry had handed him. He contrasted it with the deceptive account in the company records. Subtle yet profound, the differences loomed large. A shadowy figure, armed with technical prowess, twisted the test results, casting Henry into the depths of incompetence. Caitlin's knock echoed through the silence of Elon's office. "You asked for the complete file on Henry Scott," she declared, slamming a folder onto his desk. "What of John Paul? Do you feel it as well?" She nodded, her gaze intense, and dropped a second, thicker folder with a heavy thud. "I retrieved the emails exchanged between them from our server archives as you asked." "Thanks. I demand 2 hours of absolute silence." Once she was gone, Elon plunged into the files. Henry's flawless employment record shattered in an instant with the abrupt termination. Performance reviews painted him as a visionary, fiercely committed, and an indispensable force. John's file revealed a manager, skilled yet flawed, burdened by repeated warnings of his reluctance to share credit and his cutthroat style of team leadership. The emails revealed a tale far more captivating. In the days leading up to Henry's dismissal, John's hostility reached a boiling point. Henry's innovations captured the gaze of upper management, igniting John's simmering unease. In that moment, Elon discovered it. The damning evidence. A chilling email from John to the HR director, dispatched on the fateful Sunday night before Henry's dismissal. It is with great regret that I must announce the submission of falsified test data by Henry Scott. Considering his family circumstances, I urge for swift termination instead of a drawn-out investigation that would only extend his anguish. The evidence is attached. This email arrived mere hours after Henry submitted his report. John struck swiftly, ensnaring Henry in a web of deceit before the truth could emerge. Elon reclined in his chair, fury surging within him. He seized his phone. "Caitlin, uncover who holds the reins of battery development now. A meeting is essential today." Half an hour later, Elon faced Lin Chen, the formidable director of the battery division. "We have yet to cross paths," Elon declared. "So, you stepped in after John Paul ascended?" Lin's head jerked in agreement. 6 months ago, John stepped into the shadows of the new German factory. Elon thrust the original report onto the desk. "Do you know this cooling system design?" Lin's eyes widened in shock. "This appears to be the answer we've desperately sought." "Where did you find this?" "Born from the mind of Henry Scott." Lin's expression shifted dramatically. "The engineer, cast out for manipulating the truth?" "Yet, this appears authentic." "It is. John Paul twisted Henry's efforts and betrayed him." Elon revealed his shocking discovery. Lin's expression was clouded with turmoil. "That's unsettling. Why present this to me?" "I'm thinking of bringing Henry back to Tesla. He would be in your division. Bring back the one who fell from grace?" "That would breach company policy," Lin warned, tension thick in the air. "The misconduct was a mere illusion. Company policies are subject to change." Lin scrutinized the report once more. "This design, months lost in a relentless struggle. If he can pull this off, he will. He has even more ideas." Elon's finger drummed against the desk, a storm brewing in his eyes. "I must know. Will you stand by his return?" "In a professional manner." "Without a doubt." "His technical skills could prove invaluable." Lin paused, heart racing. "Yet, the team looms large in the shadows. John still commands loyalty among those who see Henry's dismissal as deserved." "Leave that to me," Elon declared. "Your honesty is appreciated." As Lin departed, Elon summoned HR and legal for an urgent meeting. For the next hour, they delved into the consequences of Henry's predicament. The HR director stood on guard. "We adhered to the established procedures," she insisted, "based on the evidence laid bare." "Falsified evidence laid bare," Elon struck back, revealing the stark contrast of reports. "John Paul twisted your arm, forcing you to let go of one of our finest engineers. Rehiring a terminated employee? A dangerous precedent," warned the ETTO legal counsel. "Each dismissed employee will demand a second chance." "Only if a jealous supervisor had orchestrated it," Elon replied with a chilling calm. The debate raged on until, at last, Elon rose to his feet. "This is not a conversation. A notification has arrived. I am correcting a grave error that jeopardized a crucial asset and almost shattered a man's existence. How we confront it is the only question that remains." Once they departed, discontent etched on their faces, Elon gazed into the distance. The window looms, one final piece demands attention. John Paul, in Germany, answered the video call without hesitation. "Mr. Musk." John's eyes widened, a tremor of anxiety coursing through him. "This is shocking. I've been revisiting some old projects, Elon declared, a hint of intensity in his voice, the battery cooling system of the previous year. Fascinating endeavor. John shifted, tension crackling in the air. Indeed, a daunting endeavor. In the end, we triumphed. John's face went pale after dismissing the engineer who had truly resolved the issue. I don't understand your point. Henry Scott? Elon brandished the original report. I possess his original submission and I hold the altered version you crafted to ensure his dismissal. Utterly ridiculous. I could never. Your emails reveal the plan, and the metadata exposes your edits. Elon's voice cut through the air, icy and unyielding. Your explanation is the one thing I lack. John's throat tightened painfully. The struggle was intense. Deadlines loomed ominously. Scott was consumed by his personal demons. You shattered his career, didn't you? I rendered a verdict. For the good of the company, John declared, his voice cold and unyielding. No, you were outmatched by someone more cunning than you, so you ended it with him. Elon edged nearer to the screen, tension crackling in the air. What unfolds next is nothing short of shocking. You will pen a complete confession and hand in your resignation. This can't be real. A single error must not define you. It was no accident. It was a calculated betrayal targeting both a colleague and the very heart of this company. Resign, or I'll expose you for all to see. The world will know the truth. With the call to a trembling John behind him, Elon dialed Henry for one last time. Will you meet tomorrow? I have something crucial to say. That evening, Elon scrutinized every detail once more. The policies loom, legal shadows cast, and the fear of backlash from wary managers hangs heavy in the air. Offering Henry a generous settlement and moving on seems like the simplest escape. But then the memory of Ella's drawing struck him like lightning. Father's car, forever fueled by magic. And Henry's words echoed ominously. It was about forging something significant. Some injustices defy the power of money. Bold action was necessary. As the sun dipped below the horizon of the Tesla factory, Elon Musk stood at a crossroads, ready to make a choice that would echo through the news. The following morning, Elon sat in his office, surrounded by the heated clash of his executive team's voices. This is a perilous turning point, Mira, the head of HR declared. Each dismissed worker believes they are entitled to redemption. Jared from legal interjected. The board will not tolerate this chaos. This may ignite a wave of policy reviews throughout every division. A storm brews on the horizon, ready to unleash chaos. Another executive spoke up. Elon observed the heated debate, his fingers drumming relentlessly on Henry's open notebook, resting on the desk like a silent witness. The room went still as he finally uttered a word. I didn't summon you for your approval, he whispered. I summoned you to reveal my choice and seek your assistance in executing it. Mira's brow furrowed in deep discontent. We must defend the company at all costs. Who stood guard for Henry Scott in his moment of unjust dismissal? Who stands guard over his daughter Ella as she battles for the medical care her father can scarcely afford on a McDonald's wage? Elon rose to his feet. Doing the right thing can be a battle, fraught with struggle. What are you really suggesting? Lin Chen, who had remained silent until this moment, was suddenly asked. It's more than merely bringing Henry back. I will forge a new role for him, leading special projects in TV, igniting battery innovation. He will answer to you, Lin, yet he will have the freedom to chase the visions in this notebook. Elon struck the frayed pages with a decisive touch. I must backdate his employment. No gap in health insurance for Ella's treatments, not a moment to lose. Jared recoiled. That's crossing the line. Then find a way to make it legal, Elon shot back. That's the reason Tesla compensates you. After a fierce debate, the team, with heavy hearts, plunged into the details. As they departed, Elon fixed his gaze on the bustling factory beneath him. Was he choosing wisely? The choice is clear. Safeguard company policy and sidestep chaos. But hello, this was more than just a business choice. His phone vibrated, a message from Caitlin piercing the silence. Henry Scott has arrived. Elon spotted Henry in the lobby, a bundle of nerves in his best shirt, worn yet meticulously ironed, a stark contrast to the surroundings. "Thank you for coming," Elon said, guiding him into a secluded conference room away from prying eyes. "Your message carried weight," Henry declared. "Is it John's fate?" "Partially." Elon faced him, tension crackling in the air. "6 months ago, I delved into the shadows of the past. John twisted your report and betrayed you?" Henry's jaw clenched, his expression betraying nothing. "I feared it was true." He faces the demand to step down. A fleeting spark of satisfaction ignited on Henry's face, only to be extinguished by a wave of weariness. "That doesn't alter anything for me and Ella, but I appreciate you sharing." "It alters the very fabric of reality." Elon slammed a folder onto the table. "A job offer awaits." Henry's gaze locked onto the folder, his hand frozen in midair. "A job offer? At Tesla?" "Extraordinary. Leading the charge in battery innovation." "You will answer to Lin Chen, yet you hold the reins to chase your own visions, including the designs etched in your notebook." Henry's hands shook as he pried open the folder. His eyes shot open at the staggering salary figure. "This surpasses all I earned before. It aligns with your worth to the company," Elon stated, his voice steady. "Full health benefits await, effective immediately for you and Ella." Henry gazed upward, his eyes glistening with unfallen tears. "What drives you to this madness?" "I was let go by the company. Rules that govern. Policies exist to serve the people, never the reverse." Elon leaned in, tension crackling in the air. "Tesla suffered a loss far greater than it realized when you were let go. This is not charity, Henry. It's a bold move." Henry's gaze pierced the offer letter. Turmoil etched across his features. "What if everything changed in an instant? What if I failed to deliver? Ella's treatments demand patience. Some days I'm drained, fighting to keep her hope alive. Your schedule will be met. Work from home as necessary? What if the board opposes your choice?" Elon's smile was fleeting, a mere flicker in the shadows. "I'll handle the board." Yet Henry lingered in doubt. "It feels unreal, almost a mirage. Second chances rarely come around." Elon's voice dropped to a whisper. "Ella deserves a father who can unleash his true potential, not merely exist from one day to the next. You deserve the opportunity to create something significant." Those words, echoing Henry's thoughts, shattered the silence at last. With a trembling hand, he grasped the pen and signed the offer letter, sealing his fate. "I don't know how to thank you," he whispered, his voice heavy with emotion. "Create wonders," Elon declared. "That's the only gratitude I require." As their hands met, an unforeseen fate loomed ahead. This choice would send shockwaves, altering their fate and igniting a fire in countless souls across the globe. For Elon, it was a matter of principle. For Henry, it was the second chance he had long since given up on. For Ella, unbeknownst to her, a new chapter was about to unfold, a realm where her father was both the provider she craved and the innovator he was destined to become. Henry perched on the edge of Ella's bed that evening, his heart pounding with a mix of exhilaration and dread. How could he possibly convey this miracle to a child of 7? "Daddy has news," he said, his fingers brushing over her vibrant scarf. Ella's gaze lifted from her drawing. "Is it a blessing or a curse?" "Great news." "Excellent news," he inhaled sharply. "Recall Mr. Musk, the rocket man who gifted us dinosaur nuggets?" Ella nodded, her anticipation palpable. "He extended a job offer to Daddy at his car company, the place where I once toiled." Ella's eyes flared open. The realm of sleek machines that run on nothing but electricity? Indeed. This job frees us from the shackles of financial worry. Your medicine will be within reach. Ella gazed intently at her father's face. Despite her youth, she grasped truths that eluded many adults. Will you take me to the hospital for treatments? Of course I will, Henry declared, pulling her into a tight embrace. My new boss has granted me the power to work from home whenever necessary. You are everything. Will you find joy, Daddy? Ella's question pierced the silence, echoing memories of a time before illness consumed me. The question struck Henry like a bolt from the blue. Had his daughter been burdened by that worry all along? Ella, he whispered, dropping to his knees beside her bed. With you, joy ignites within me. Indeed, I will find true joy in pursuing work that ignites my passion once more. Ella's smile flickered like a fleeting shadow. Then, it's incredible news. As darkness enveloped the room, Henry dialed Mrs. Guzman, urgency lacing his voice with the weight of his revelation. He stormed to the kitchen table, flinging open his notebook with fervor. After months of restraint, he finally surrendered to the torrent of ideas, sketching feverishly into the night. The next morning, Henry stood outside the Tesla factory, his old employee badge newly reactivated in his zoo. The familiar building loomed before him, both welcoming and intimidating. Do you care to seat? You can do this, he whispered to himself. Inside, Lin Chen waited to show him to his new workspace, a small office with a window overlooking the factory floor and a top-of-the-line computer workstation. Elon said you'd need good simulation software for your designs, Lin explained. This has everything you could want. Henry ran his fingertips over the desk, hardly believing this was real. Thank you. The team meeting starts in 30 minutes. I'll introduce you then. Lin hesitated. I should warn you, not everyone is thrilled about your return. John had friends here. Henry nodded, the happiness of the moment dimming slightly. I understand. The Bob team meeting was exactly as uncomfortable as Lin had warned. Some engineers welcomed Henry warmly, particularly those who had worked directly with him before. But others were cold, avoiding eye contact. A tall woman named Emma approached him afterward. I heard you got special treatment from Musk himself, she said, her voice carefully neutral. That's quite a comeback. It's not how I wanted to return, Henry admitted, but I'm grateful for the second chance. Just don't expect everyone to roll out the red carpet, she warned. John told people you falsified data. Some still believe him. Throughout that first week, Henry felt the weight of suspicious glances and whispered conversations. He focused on his work, diving into the cooling system designs from his notebook, but isolation wore on him. On Friday, he found a note on his desk. Fraud. You don't belong here. That evening, he sat with Ella during her treatment, watching her doze as medication dripped through her IV. His phone buzzed with a message from Elon. How was your first week? Henry hesitated, then typed, honestly, challenging. Not everyone thinks I deserve this second chance. Elon's reply came quickly. Winning trust takes time. Let your work speak for itself. The next week was better. Henry presented his cooling system concept at a department meeting. The technical brilliance of his design was undeniable, and even the skeptics looked impressed. Emma approached him afterward. That configuration could actually work, she admitted. The simulations look promising. Would you like to help test the prototype? Henry offered. I could use another set of eyes. Slowly, bridges began to form, not with everyone. Some remained distant, but enough that Henry no longer felt like a complete outsider. 1 month into his new role, Henry received wonderful news. Ella's doctors reported her cancer was responding well to treatment. Her prognosis was improving. That same day, the first prototype of his cooling system outperformed all expectations in testing. When he shared both pieces of news with Elon, the CEO suggested a celebration. Bring Ella to the factory on Saturday, Elon said. I'll give her a personal tour. Ella's eyes were huge as she walked through the Tesla factory, her butterfly headscarf bright against the industrial backdrop. Employees smiled at her excitement as she marveled at the robots and assembly lines. "This is where Daddy makes his ideas come true," Elon told her, holding her small hand. "Like magic," Ella whispered. Elon knelt beside her. "Not magic, Ella, just human creativity and hard work. Your dad has special talents that help make better cars." "I know," Ella said seriously. "He fixed our toaster when it broke, and he made my special night light that looks like stars." Elon laughed. "Exactly." As they toured the facility, Henry noticed something extraordinary. The same employees who had been cold to him were smiling at Ella, asking her questions, showing her how things worked. Through his daughter, barriers were breaking down. At the end of the tour, Elon surprised them both. "Ella, I have something for you." He presented her with a small Tesla model car. "This is the first car that will use your dad's new cooling system. You helped inspire it." "I did?" Ella asked, wide-eyed. "You did," Ellen confirmed, "by helping your dad remember what matters most." As they drove home, Ella clutched her model car while Henry reflected on the whirlwind his life had become. From McDonald's to Tesla in just over a month. From despair to hope. "Daddy," Ella said sleepily from the back seat, "I think Mr. Musk is like a superhero. He fixes things." Henry smiled. "Maybe he does, in his own way." What neither Henry nor Ella knew was that Elon's fixing was just beginning, and that their story was about to reach far beyond the walls of Tesla. Monday morning brought an unpleasant surprise. When Henry arrived at his office, a small group of employees was gathered around his door, whispering. They scattered when they saw him, but not before he glimpsed what had captured their attention. Taped to his door was a printed article from the company newsletter featuring a photo of Ella's factory tour with Elon. The headline read, "Musk's Pet Project, Fired Engineer Gets Special Treatment." Henry's stomach knotted as he pulled down the article. The text was worse than the headline, suggesting his return was a publicity stunt and questioning his qualifications. Inside his office, he found an email from John to the entire engineering department, sent from his personal account. "Colleagues, I feel compelled to warn you about the dangerous precedent being set with Henry Scott. His return undermines our standards and procedures. Don't be fooled by heartwarming stories. Data doesn't lie. I stand by my original assessment of his work. This is about appeasing a CEO's whim, not technical merit." Henry's hands trembled as he closed the email. All the progress he'd made in the past month felt suddenly fragile. Lin Chen appeared in his doorway looking concerned. "I've seen the email." "John's being spiteful. It's working," Henry said quietly. "I saw the looks this morning." "Focus on the prototype testing," Lin advised. "Results speak louder than rumors." But throughout the day, Henry felt the change. Conversations stopped when he entered rooms. Lunch invitations disappeared. Even Emma, who had been warming to him, kept her distance. That evening, at Ella's doctor appointment, Henry couldn't focus on the good news about her improving blood counts. His mind kept returning to John's email and the article. "Daddy, are you listening?" Ella asked, tugging his sleeve. "Sorry, sweetie, Daddy's just thinking about work. Is it broken again? Can you fix it like you fixed the toaster?" Henry smiled sadly. If only workplace relationships were as simple as appliance repairs. The next morning, Henry arrived early, determined to push through the discomfort. To his surprise, Elon was waiting in his office. "I saw John's email," Elon said without preamble, "and the newsletter piece." Henry sighed. "I'm trying not to let it affect my work." "Good, because I need that prototype perfected for the board presentation next week." Elon fixed him with an intense gaze. "This is your chance to silence the doubters." "No pressure," Henry said with a weak smile. "I wouldn't have brought you back if I didn't believe you could handle it." Elon stood to leave, then paused. "By the way, how's Ella?" Better. The doctors are cautiously optimistic. Ellen nodded. Children are remarkably resilient. So are engineers who've been knocked down. With that cryptic comment, he left. Inspired by Elon's confidence, Henry threw himself into finalizing the prototype. He worked late every day that week, asking Mrs. Guzman to watch Ella. The cooling system was revolutionary. Simpler, more efficient, and cheaper to manufacture than anything Tesla had tried before, but doubt crept in. What if it failed during the demonstration? What if John was right about him? The night before the board presentation, Henry worked until midnight, quadruple-checking every detail. He nearly jumped out of his skin when Emma appeared in his doorway. "You're still here?" she asked, surprised. "Final checks," he explained warily, uncertain of her motives. Emma hesitated, then stepped into his office. "I wanted to say, I'm sorry about how people have been treating you. John has loyalists here, I've noticed. I didn't know him well, but something always seemed off about how he managed people." She looked at Henry's designs on the screen. "For what it's worth, this cooling system is brilliant. I checked your math myself." "You did?" "Engineering isn't about popularity contests. It's about solving problems," she smiled slightly. "And you solved one we've been stuck on for months." That small vote of confidence meant more to Henry than she could know. The board presentation the next day started badly. Several board members looked bored before Henry even began. One was openly scrolling through his phone, but when the test results appeared on screen, showing a 27% improvement in cooling efficiency and a 15% reduction in manufacturing costs, the atmosphere shifted. Questions became more engaged. Even the phone scroller put his device away. Elon, watching from the back of the room, gave Henry a subtle nod of approval. After the presentation, a senior board member approached Henry. "Impressive work, young man. Quite a return from... Where was it you were before, McDonald's?" Henry tensed, waiting for mockery, but the man continued sincerely. "My son worked at Burger King through college. Good, honest work. But this?" He gestured to the prototype. "This is where your talents belong." Walking back to his office, Henry felt lighter than he had in weeks. His phone buzzed with a text from Ella's doctor. Her latest test results showed significant improvement. 2 pieces of good news in one day. Maybe, just maybe, things were turning around. He didn't notice the reporter from the Wall Street Journal being escorted through the building, or the way Elon pointed him out from a distance. He didn't know that John's angry emails had reached beyond Tesla, or that Elon was preparing a public response that would change everything. The real storm and the real opportunity was just beginning. 3 days after Henry's board presentation, an article appeared in the Wall Street Journal with the headline, "From Drive-Thru to Driving Innovation, the Engineer Who Got a Second Chance." The article told Henry's story in detail: his unfair dismissal, his struggle as a single father with a sick child, and his chance encounter with Elon Musk at McDonald's. The article ended with a bold quote from Elon: "America talks about second chances, but too often we discard brilliant minds because of office politics or personal circumstances." Henry's story isn't just about one engineer, it's about the talent we waste every day in this country. Henry nearly spilled his coffee when he saw the article. His phone immediately started buzzing with messages from former colleagues and friends. By the time he arrived at Tesla, the entire building was talking about it. Lin Chen was waiting at his office door. "Did you know about this?" Henry shook his head, still in shock. "I had no idea." "Well, you're famous now," Lin said with a wry smile. "And Elon wants to see you immediately." Elon was pacing in his office when Henry arrived. "Good, you're here. I'm assuming you've seen the article?" "Yes." "Why didn't you tell me about the interview?" "Because I knew you'd worry about the attention," Elon replied. "But your story needed to be told. The article makes you sound like a hero and John like a villain," Henry said uncomfortably. "Isn't that exactly what happened?" Elon stopped pacing. Besides, it's already having an impact. The company's stock is up this morning. People respond to stories about doing the right thing. Before Henry could respond, Elon's assistant interrupted with an urgent message. The story's been picked up by major news outlets. Several are requesting interviews with both of you. Elon grinned. See? People care about this. Henry felt overwhelmed. I just want to focus on my work. And you will, Elon assured him. But first, I have a new challenge for you. Elon explained that the board was impressed with Henry's cooling system, but wanted more. They were giving him a critical assignment. Solve the persistent efficiency problem with the next generation of batteries. The issue that had stumped the engineering team for months. If you succeed, Elon said, no one will ever question your place at Tesla again. You'll have 6 weeks. 6 weeks? Henry's eyes widened. That's not enough time. It's all the board would give. They're still testing you, Henry. As Henry left Elon's office, his mind raced with the technical complexities of the new assignment. This wasn't just a challenge. It was a test of whether he truly deserved his second chance. The attention from the article created a strange new reality for Henry. Colleagues who had avoided him now sought his opinion. Others seemed resentful of his sudden fame, and a small gift appeared on his desk. A toy McDonald's drive-thru set with a note that read, "Don't forget where you came from." That afternoon, Ella's school called. She had a fever and needed to be picked up immediately. Henry found her in the nurse's office, pale and tired. "I don't feel good, Daddy," she whispered. At the hospital, the doctors confirmed what Henry feared. The cancer was fighting back. Ella would need more aggressive treatment, starting immediately. "How long will she be hospitalized?" Henry asked, his heart sinking. "At least 2 weeks," the doctor replied, "and she'll need careful monitoring afterward." Just as Henry had received the biggest challenge of his career, Ella needed him more than ever. The timing couldn't have been worse. He called Elon from the hospital to explain the situation. "Take whatever time you need," Elon said immediately. "Family comes first, but the battery project will still be there. We can extend the deadline." But Henry knew the board wouldn't see it that way. This was his chance to prove himself, and he was about to miss it. That night, as Ella slept in her hospital bed, Henry made a decision. He wouldn't choose between being there for his daughter and proving himself at work. Somehow, he would do both. The next morning, Henry arrived at the hospital with his laptop and notebooks. He set up a small workstation beside Ella's bed while she slept. When she woke, he read to her and helped her eat. When she napped, he worked on battery calculations. After 3 days of this routine, Henry had a surprise visitor. Emma appeared in the doorway of Ella's room, carrying a stuffed bear. "Lynn told me where you were," she explained. "The team wanted to send something for Ella." Ella, weak but smiling, accepted the bear happily. "How are you managing the project?" Emma asked Henry quietly. He showed her his makeshift workspace. "Not ideal, but I'm making progress." Emma studied his notes. "You're approaching this from an unusual angle. It's the only way I can see to break through the efficiency barrier." "It's interesting," she hesitated. "Would you like some help? I could bring your simulation results each day." That was the beginning of an unexpected partnership. Each day Emma would visit, bringing Ella small gifts from the Tesla team and sharing technical discussions with Henry. Other team members began to visit too. Ella's hospital room became an impromptu engineering hub. As Ella's second week in the hospital began, she felt strong enough to draw while the engineers talked. She listened to their conversations, occasionally asking innocent questions that sometimes led to surprising insights. One afternoon, as Henry struggled with a particularly difficult configuration problem, Ella was playing with the building blocks a colleague had brought her. "Daddy, look," she called, "I made a tower that doesn't fall." Henry glanced over, then stopped. Ella had stacked the blocks in an unusual pattern, alternating larger and smaller pieces in a way that distributed weight more efficiently than a standard stack. "Ella," he said slowly, "can I take a picture of your tower?" That night, after Ella fell asleep, Henry worked feverishly. His daughter's innocent block arrangement had triggered a new approach to the battery cell configuration. What if they alternated materials in a similar pattern? It could potentially solve the efficiency problem in an entirely new way. By morning, he had preliminary calculations that looked promising. When Emma arrived, he showed her the concept. "This could actually work," she said, surprised. "It's completely different from anything we've tried." "My daughter, the engineer," Henry said proudly, watching Ella sleep. Over the next week, as Ella's condition slowly improved, the new battery design took shape. The team at Tesla built the first prototype based on Henry's specifications, with Emma overseeing the work. On the day Ella was released from the hospital, Emma brought news. The initial tests showed a potential efficiency improvement of 23%, far beyond what the board had asked for. Carrying Ella to the car, Henry felt a sense of accomplishment unlike anything he'd experienced before. He had refused to choose between his daughter and his work, and ended up succeeding at both. What he didn't know was that his unorthodox approach to the challenge would soon inspire a change throughout Tesla and beyond. 2 days after Ella came home from the hospital, Henry returned to Tesla for the official testing of his new battery design. The lab was crowded with engineers and several board members. Elon stood to the side, watching quietly. The lead technician explained the test procedure. "We'll run the battery through extreme temperature and stress conditions to see if the efficiency gains hold up." Henry held his breath as the tests began. The first results appeared on the large screen. 22.8% improvement in efficiency. Several people gasped. "These numbers can't be right," one engineer muttered. "Run it again." The second test showed 23.1%, the third 22.9%. Lin Chen turned to Henry with wide eyes. "How did you solve this when our entire team couldn't?" Henry smiled, thinking of Ella's block tower. Sometimes we need to look at problems through a child's eyes. As more tests confirmed the breakthrough, excitement filled the room. Board members huddled together, speaking in hushed tones. Elon finally approached Henry, a rare look of genuine surprise on his face. "You did this while sitting in a hospital room?" Henry nodded. "With help from the team, especially Emma. It's not just the efficiency improvement," Emma added. "His design uses 18% fewer rare materials and simplifies the manufacturing process." Elon studied the test results. "This changes everything, not just for our current models, but for the entire product roadmap." The next day, Henry was asked to present his breakthrough to the entire engineering department. Standing at the front of the crowded room, he felt a sudden wave of imposter syndrome. Just 2 months ago, he'd been working a drive-thru window. "Many of you know my story," he began nervously. "But what you might not know is that this battery design was inspired by my daughter's block tower in her hospital room." He showed a photo of Ella's creation beside his technical diagrams, explaining how her innocent play had sparked his insight. "I've learned that innovation can come from anywhere, even a child's game, and that sometimes our biggest challenges give us our biggest breakthroughs." As Henry explained the technical details, he saw the room's mood shift from skepticism to excitement. Engineers were scribbling notes, whispering to each other. By the time he finished, the atmosphere was electric. One older engineer raised his hand. "You developed this while caring for your daughter in the hospital?" "Yes," Henry replied. "I refused to choose between being there for her and doing my job, so I found a way to do both." The engineer nodded thoughtfully. "Maybe we should all spend more time in children's hospitals." Laughter rippled through the room, but Henry sensed something deeper in the comment, a recognition that innovation thrived in unexpected environments. After the presentation, a board member approached Henry. "We're implementing your design immediately. This will increase range across our entire fleet." "Thank you, but it wasn't just me," Henry insisted. "Emma and the team took your lead." "I signed," the board member interrupted. "Don't minimize your achievement, young man." That evening, Elon called Henry into his office. I've been thinking about your process, the way you worked from the hospital with a team that came to you. It wasn't ideal, Henry admitted. Actually, it was revolutionary. Elon paced the room energetically. What if we created a new innovation model based on your experience? Flexible work environments, cross-functional teams gathered around real problems, fewer boundaries. You want to change Tesla's entire R&D approach based on my 2 weeks in a hospital room? I want to learn from it, Elon corrected. Great innovation rarely happens in boardrooms or on schedules. Before Henry could respond, Elon's assistant interrupted with breaking news. The Wall Street Journal had published a follow-up article about Henry's battery breakthrough, revealing it had been developed from his daughter's hospital room. The headline read, "Tesla's hospital room innovation changes the EV game." Perfect timing, Elon said with satisfaction. Now, about this new innovation model, I want you to help design it. In the weeks that followed, Henry's battery breakthrough went into production, while his story spread throughout the tech industry. Other companies began questioning their own rigid workplace structures and dismissal policies. Ella continued to improve, her treatments working better than the doctors had expected. She became a regular visitor at Tesla, where engineers would show her their projects and ask what she thought. One afternoon, Emma found Henry in the break room, staring at his phone with a shocked expression. "What's wrong?" she asked. "My ex-wife called. She saw the articles. She wants to come back." His voice was flat. "She says she made a mistake leaving us." "What will you do?" Henry sighed. "Ella needs stability, not confusion." I told her no. Emma squeezed his shoulder supportively. The next week brought another surprise. John Paul returned unexpectedly from Germany, demanding a meeting with the battery team. He claimed the new design had flaws that would eventually cause failures. In a tense engineering review, John presented simulations showing potential problems. "This rush design will damage Tesla's reputation," he insisted. The room fell silent, all eyes turning to Henry. 2 months ago, he would have shrunk from this confrontation, but he was different now. Calmly, he walked through John's simulations, pointing out the incorrect assumptions and manipulated parameters. "These aren't honest concerns," he concluded. "They're an attempt to discredit work you didn't do." John's face reddened. "You have no right." "I have every right," Henry interrupted. "I earned my place here, twice." After John stormed out, several engineers congratulated Henry on standing his ground, but the confrontation left him uneasy. John wasn't the type to give up easily. Later that week, as Henry worked late in his office, he received an unexpected package. Inside was a framed photo of Ella's block tower, beside the battery diagram it had inspired. A note from Elon read, "Sometimes, greatest insights come from the purest perspectives. This belongs on Tesla's wall of innovations." Henry placed the frame on his desk, feeling a warmth spread through him. His idea wasn't just being implemented, it was being celebrated. What he couldn't have known then was that John was already planning his revenge, and that when it came, it would threaten everything Henry had rebuilt. The company-wide presentation of the new battery technology was scheduled for Thursday morning. It was a big moment for Tesla and for Henry. Engineers from every division would attend, along with the board and key investors. Henry practiced his presentation with Ella the night before. She sat on their couch, giggling as he made exaggerated gestures to explain complex concepts. "Daddy, you look silly," she said. "Nervous, sweetie. A lot of important people will be watching tomorrow." Ella tilted her head. "But you already know it works, right? You showed me the tests." Such simple wisdom. "You're right," Henry smiled. "I already know it works." The next morning, the presentation hall was packed. Henry spotted Emma giving him a thumbs up from the front row. Elon stood at the back, phone in hand, but eyes focused on the stage. As Henry was about to begin, John Paul entered the room and took a seat near the front. The sight of him made Henry's mouth go dry, but he forced himself to focus. This was his moment. The presentation went smoothly. Henry explained the technology clearly, acknowledging the team's contributions and Ella's inadvertent inspiration. The room responded with enthusiastic applause. Then came the Q&A session. Several engineers asked technical questions that Henry answered confidently. Elon's silent approval echoed from the shadows. As the session drew to a close, John's hand shot up, demanding attention. Lin Chen paused, a heavy silence hanging in the air, before finally summoning him with a reluctant breath. "I have grave doubts about the future stability of this design," John exclaimed, his voice echoing with urgency. "I've conducted intense simulations revealing the looming threat of catastrophic failures after around 800 charge cycles." Whispers rippled through the crowd. John rose, striding toward the stage, tablet in hand. "May I?" he asked, fingers poised over the presentation controls. Before Henry could protest, John seized the moment, connecting his tablet and unleashing a torrent of complex simulation results onto the screen. The data revealed a catastrophic decline in the battery design over time. "These results shatter Mr. Scott's claims," John pressed on, unwavering. His testing was either a failure or a deliberate pause, heavy with significance. "He's at it again, twisting the truth with his deceitful data." A hush enveloped the room. Henry's eyes locked onto the simulation results, a wave of confusion crashing over him. The numbers were wrong. They had to be. His designs faced relentless trials. I can't make sense of these results," Henry confessed, his voice trembling. "Our testing revealed a possibility," John hinted, "that you orchestrated a friendly evaluation considering your unique ties with management." Out of the shadows, Henry caught a glimpse of Elon advancing to the forefront. Just as Elon prepared to act, Emma rose with determination. "The simulations are flawed. They rely on the wrong material, parameters," she declared with intensity. "I see the numbers. They reveal our past battery composition, not the new." John's face flushed with a sudden intensity. "I followed the given parameters. Who dares to question?" Emma cut in sharply. "I personally conducted the verification tests with the right parameters, and our results revealed no degradation issues." The air crackled with unspoken tension. Henry watched as investors exchanged anxious whispers, their faces etched with uncertainty. In an instant, Elon burst onto the stage. "We all crave clarity on this," he declared, his voice steady yet charged. He faced John. "May we inspect your tablet to confirm the parameters of your simulation?" John's grip on the tablet tightened, a storm brewing within him. "That's not needed. I have a story to tell." "It is essential," Elon declared with conviction. "Your concerning results are either valid, a grave issue we must confront, or they are not. Let's uncover the truth." As John faltered, Elon pressed on. "Unless there's something on that tablet you wish to keep hidden." The air crackled with an unbearable intensity. At last, with a heavy heart, John surrendered his tablet to the IT staff summoned by Elon. In mere minutes, the truth shattered the silence. The IT specialist cast John's screen into the spotlight for all to witness. He declared that these simulations were deliberately configured with erroneous parameters. The material specifications were intentionally changed to guarantee disaster. Gasps shattered the silence of the room. John's face drained of color. The specialist revealed a shocking discovery. Email evidence showed that Mr. Paul tried to access Mr. Scott's test results to manipulate them before today's presentation, but our security protocols thwarted his efforts. John's retreat drew every gaze, his steps faltering as he neared the door. "John," Elon whispered, "we must take this conversation to my office." At this moment, as John was led away, the room ignited with fervent whispers. Henry stood paralyzed on stage, the weight of the moment crashing down around him. Emma stepped up to the podium, her presence electrifying the air. "Are you all right?" "I don't know," Henry confessed, his voice heavy with uncertainty. "I was aware of his disdain, but this—" "He couldn't bear that you triumphed where he faltered," she declared. Some souls cannot endure the ascent of others. As the audience trickled away, Henry felt the weight of several board members closing in. Concern faded, replaced by a heavy respect. Mr. Scott spoke a single word. "An apology is due to you." The board member reached out, hand poised, as Henry stood frozen in anticipation. "Your dismissal should have been scrutinized more deeply 6 months prior." "Thank you, sir," Henry responded, grappling with the weight of recent events. "Absolutely not," the board member demanded, unwavering. "This battery design will revolutionize our entire product line." John's public disgrace echoed through Tesla in mere hours. By afternoon, the tale had erupted across tech blogs, fueled by vivid eyewitness accounts of the intense confrontation. John's fate was sealed. He was terminated. This time, a thorough revelation will echo through the entire company. As Henry arrived to collect Ella from school that day, an unsettling change in him caught her eye. "You look happy, Daddy," she said, her voice cutting through the silence as they approached the car. "I am elated, my love. A spark of hope ignited at work today. Did you create yet another amazing battery?" Henry grinned, hoisting her into the car with a swift motion. No, today held a different purpose. Truth, though slow to reveal itself, inevitably emerges, leaving a mark that cannot be ignored. The following morning, Elon summoned Henry to his office. A CNN journalist stood by, poised for the impending interview with them both. "This was never my choice." Henry leaned in, his voice barely a breath, as he spoke to Elon. "Trust me," Elon said, his voice cutting through the tension. "Your tale demands attention." The interview delved deep into Henry's tumultuous journey, from the sting of an unjust firing to the humbling days at McDonald's, culminating in a fateful encounter with Elon. When the journalist inquired about Ella, Henry's voice trembled with raw emotion as he revealed the struggle of juggling his daughter's needs against the weight of his career. He revealed that the most groundbreaking solution he ever devised emerged from his daughter's play with blocks in her hospital room. It revealed the urgent need to reconsider the spaces and moments where brilliance can ignite. The story erupted onto screens nationwide the next week, resonating powerfully with viewers everywhere. In an instant, Henry found himself flooded with emails and messages from others, recounting their own tales of workplace injustice and the fight for career redemption. A single message pierced his heart. A woman unjustly dismissed while fighting for her life against breast cancer. "Your tale ignited a fire within me to resist," she penned. "Thank you for proving that second chances exist." Elon, struck by the weight of Henry's journey, unveiled a bold new Tesla initiative, the Second Chance Innovation Program. It would open doors for gifted individuals who have suffered career blows from forces they couldn't control. "Talent remains even in the darkest moments," Elon declared at the press conference. "In those moments, creativity ignites, like a spark in the dark." Henry stood beside him at the podium, a stark reminder of the journey from that McDonald's drive-thru window to this moment of triumph. Other companies started to watch closely. In mere months, rival tech giants and manufacturers unleashed their own versions. Human resource departments nationwide began a critical reassessment of dismissal policies, forging new, flexible work arrangements for employees grappling with personal challenges. At Tesla, the new battery has launched, pushing their vehicles' range past the competition. Orders surged, and with them, the company's stock price soared. The board, once doubtful of Elon's choice to bring Henry back, now hailed it as a pivotal moment in the company's saga. For Henry, life shifted dramatically, in ways both monumental and subtle. His salary paved the way for a new apartment, just steps from Ella's school. He set up a college fund for her future, and at last he could pay for the specialized treatments that insurance refused to cover. 6 months after the clash with John, Henry was struck by astonishing news. Ella's doctors announced her stunning remission. It vanished, leaving only silence in its wake. They would watch her every move, but the outlook was bright. That night, Henry and Ella shared a dinner that felt electric, charged with unspoken tension. Aisha stepped into their circle, now a confidant to each. As Ella spoke of her teacher and friends, a wave of unexpected joy washed over Henry, a feeling long forgotten. Aisha whispered, her voice barely a breath, "She looks so much better," as Ella lost herself in the sweetness of dessert. "Your work with her is nothing short of remarkable." "We've traveled a treacherous path," Henry conceded. "Us, together." Elon summoned Henry to his office once more the following week. "I need you to review this," he declared, thrusting the press release draft into his hands. Tesla unveils a groundbreaking innovation center for agile engineering teams. "What is this?" Henry demanded, eyes narrowing as he scrutinized the document. Elon revealed the next step. "A new division rises, inspired by your hospital room approach. Engineers will gain the power to work remotely, joining diverse teams with hours that bend to their will. We declare it the Ella model of innovation." Henry gazed upward, frozen in disbelief. "You're naming it after my daughter?" Elon responded. "Awaiting your consent. She deserves recognition for igniting this bold approach." That evening, Henry revealed to Ella the new program bearing her name. She laughed, blissfully unaware of the weight of the moment, yet thrilled by the admiration for her towering creation. "Shall I build more towers for your cause?" she demanded. "Whenever you need me, darling. Your ideas are always needed." As he tucked her into bed, Henry's mind raced through their tumultuous journey, from the dark days of his firing to the harrowing depths of Ella's illness, culminating at the McDonald's drive-thru where fate took a sharp turn. Every step was agony, but it was the price to pay to arrive here. A year ago, this life was beyond his wildest dreams. Now, he could envision nothing else. The shockwaves of his second chance surge forth, altering lives he'll never encounter, igniting transformations in companies beyond his sight. It all changed in an instant when Elon Musk paused for a burger and caught sight of the figure behind the glass. As he kissed Ella goodnight, Henry realized the true breakthrough lay not in the battery design or the innovation model, but in something far more profound. Everyone deserves to be seen, to be valued, and to grasp a second chance. This is the undeniable truth. 6 months post-launch of the Ella model, Tesla unveiled a new innovation center in a dramatic ceremony. The sleek structure boasts adaptable workspaces, inviting family zones, and a vibrant children's play corner brimming with building blocks. Henry stood next to Elon on the stage, tension crackling in the air as they readied to slice through the ribbon. Ella stood there clad in her unique Tesla lab coat, a symbol of her revival. Her health was renewed and her eyes sparkled with fervor. "Before we unveil this center," Elon addressed the crowd, his voice steady yet charged, "I have a secret to reveal, something I've never shared before." Henry's gaze pierced through him, a storm of questions brewing beneath the surface. "This was never meant to happen," Elon declared. "Most believe Henry's saga ignited the moment I stumbled into McDonald's that fateful day. The truth is tangled, raw, and deeply personal." A hush swept over the crowd, anticipation crackling in the air. 25 years ago, I was cast out from a tech startup I had faith in," Elon whispered. "It wasn't due to a deficiency in skills or a lack of commitment. Office politics reared its ugly head. A shadow loomed, threatened by my ideas, whispering poison into the CEO's ear." Henry's eyes widened as he faced Elon, shock coursing through him at the unexpected truth. "Meanwhile, my younger brother lay gravely ill," Elon pressed on. "I was shattered, drowning in despair, and burdened with the weight of his medical bills. I felt as if I had crumbled in the face of all that was important." The crowd held its breath, entranced by this shocking revelation of Elon's past. A mentor emerged from the shadows, seeing potential in my downfall, offering a lifeline when all seemed lost. A second chance, a flicker of hope in the darkness. Elon's voice cracked, raw and intense, unlike anything Henry had ever witnessed. That second chance altered the course of everything. reshaping not only my fate but also the lives of thousands of employees and millions of customers. Elon spun around, locking eyes with Henry. My stop at that McDonald's was no coincidence. I always knew you were there, lurking in the shadows. What? Henry whispered, a storm of confusion swirling within him. Once John handed in his resignation, HR uncovered unsettling trends in his management, echoes of the past. Your case was unforgettable. I demanded your file, uncovered the betrayal, and sent someone to follow your trail. Elon's smile was fleeting, a mere flicker of emotion. I craved that burger as much as a hole in my head, yet I had to witness the truth of your character firsthand. Whispers erupted among the crowd, each person grappling with the shocking truth. You orchestrated it? Henry gasped, disbelief etched on his face. I intended to watch you closely. The next move was yours to make. Elon pointed sharply at the notebook clutched tightly by Henry, a constant companion in his hands. Seeing those designs on McDonald's napkins struck a chord. You remained an engineer at heart, just as I clung to my identity as an entrepreneur, despite the chaos that surrounded us. Ella yanked Henry's hand, urgency in her grip. What is he saying, Daddy? Henry dropped to his knees beside her. He claims he sought me out intentionally, darling. It was fate, a twist of destiny. Elon pressed on, captivating the crowd. The Ella model transcends mere flexible workspaces. Talent endures even in the darkest of times. In those moments, it blazes with unparalleled intensity. It's a stark realization. The true power of any company lies in its people and the untapped potential they hold. He gripped Henry's shoulder tightly. Some may deem my actions strange or out of line. Perhaps it was. Imagine a world where companies seek the brilliance in those who have faltered. If leaders dared to offer the same chance that once changed my fate, the very fabric of innovation would shatter and be reborn. Tears threatened to spill from Henry's eyes as the missing pieces snapped into focus. Elon was more than a mere good soul performing a simple act of kindness. He was settling a score from his past, closing a chapter that had started long ago. I never told you this, Elon said, turning back to Henry, because I wanted you to believe in yourself, not see yourself as a charity case. You've fought for every single Johnny you've claimed here. I have just unleashed what was meant to remain sealed. As the ribbon fell with Ella's hands guiding them, Henry was struck by a deep revelation. This was more than just his tale or even Elon's tale. It was the hidden ties that unite us, how one person's second chance could ripple through time, forging new opportunities for countless others. As Ella joyfully built her towers in the block corner, a spark of future brilliance in her hands, Henry moved in close to Elon, urgency in his stride. Thank you for revealing the truth, he declared. Elon smiled, and I'm left reeling. The world perceives me as a decisive force, driven by data and strategy, and often, that's the reality. He glanced at Ella, weaving a complex design with the blocks. Yet the weight of crucial choices often springs from a deeper, more intimate source. Your brother? Is he truly alive and thriving, all because of the second chance I seized? Ellen's gaze pierced through Henry's soul. Ella exists solely because of you. As they observed Ella in action, engineers captivated by her innovative methods, Henry grasped the last fragment of the tale. What seems like an end, a dismissal, a job at McDonald's, can ignite the spark of a new beginning. What appears as mere luck can be the moment someone recognizes your value, even when you've lost sight of it. In fleeting moments, true inspiration ignites, not in the spotlight, but in the silent exchanges between those who grasp that every soul deserves the opportunity to fulfill their destiny. What started at a drive-thru window has spiraled into an epic saga. Behind every triumph lies a hidden force, a flicker of belief, and the fierce grip of redemption. Thank you for witnessing The Second Chance, a tale of awakening and salvation. May this story of Henry and Elon resonate deeply within you today. From where do you gaze upon this moment? Leave your location in the comments now. I am eager to discover where this tale has traveled. If this message of second chances and hidden potential strikes a chord, smash that like button and let kindness ripple out today. Each like ignites a spark, drawing more eyes to this tale. Enjoyed this video? Click the one on your screen now for another tale that could ignite your spirit. Until we meet again, keep in mind that the greatest potential often lurks in the shadows of the unexpected.